ഹലോ, ഗുഡ് ഈവനിങ്. ഇന്നത്തെ ക്ലാസ് ആരംഭിക്കുകയാണ്. ഞാൻ 2 സ്പീഡ് 80 വായിക്കാം. ഒത്തിരി പേരുടെ കമൻ്റ് ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു സ്പീഡ് കൂട്ടണമെന്ന്. അതുകൊണ്ട് ഞാൻ ലാസ്റ്റ് ഒരെണ്ണം ഒരു 90 വായിക്കാം കേട്ടോ. അപ്പോൾ അതും എഴുതി നോക്കണം എല്ലാവരും. അപ്പോൾ 90 വായിച്ചാൽ മതിയെന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ നിങ്ങൾ പറഞ്ഞാൽ മതി. ഞാൻ നാളെ മുതൽ 90 തന്നെ വായിക്കാം കിട്ടുന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ. ഇല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഒരു മാസം ഇങ്ങനെ പോട്ടെ, 80 വായിച്ചിട്ട് ക്രമേണ നമുക്ക് സ്പീഡ് കൂട്ടാം. എന്താണെന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ നിങ്ങളുടെ സജഷൻ പറയുക. ഇന്ന് ഞാൻ ടഫ് വേർഡ്സ് ഒന്നും ഇതിലില്ല, അതുകൊണ്ട് എഴുതിയിടുന്നില്ല കേട്ടോ. അത് വായിക്കുക, എഴുതി നോക്കുക. ടഫ് വേർഡ്സ് ആയിട്ട് എഴുതാൻ ബുദ്ധിമുട്ടുള്ള വേർഡ് ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ നിങ്ങൾ കമൻറ്റ് ചെയ്താൽ മതി. അതിൻ്റെ ഔട്ട്ലൈൻ ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞുതരാം, നാളെ പറഞ്ഞുതരാം. വായിക്കുകയാണ്. റെഡി? It is regrettable that we so often hear it said that young people get themselves into situations of trouble and difficulty simply because they do not know how to spend their time usefully and happily. This is a very poor state of things when we consider for a moment how many useful and pleasurable things there are for us to do today. There are many happy ways of passing the time, both at home and out of doors. There are things we can do to help ourselves, and equally important or even more important, there are many things we can do to help others. When I was growing up, there was no TV, but we had a radio set, and of course we have records. There were the old kind of record now known as 78, and one side of a record played for about 2.5 minutes. My mother liked all of the family to be at home on Sunday evenings. She did not like us to go out, but we were free to ask to the house any of our friends. The number of young people who sat down at a table for the evening meal was sometimes 20 and was always more than 12. So we were a large and happy party. It became our custom when the meal was at an end to continue to sit round the table for an hour or two while records were played. The machine was not of the electric save you trouble kind that we now use, but had a motor that required attention at the end of each side of a record, and of course it played only one record at a time. This meant that one of our members had to take on the responsibility of keeping the machine going and putting on the records. My father used to bring home a new record most weekends so that we had a good many. People used to call out for record they desired to hear, and no one seemed to want to talk while the record was playing, as is done so often now. Therefore, we were able to hear the records in place, and we got to know every detail of them. We all loved this hour or two of record playing very much, and I know that it lives in the memories of all those who were present on those evenings. We had very good time at very little cost, and no one had the smallest desire to go out and make life difficult for some other person. On the Saturday evenings, we generally had a party also, but they were much more free and easy, and were certainly not planned with the idea of having a peaceful time. Second speed വായിക്കുവാണ്. Ready. Time, as we have remarked before, is the most valuable thing that we have to spend. We can use our time or we can waste it, just as we can use or waste our money. There is one very important difference between time and money, however. All the people who are reading these words on different amounts of money know two people in all probability would be found to have just the same sum down to the last penny if all the money to which they had a right were put down on the table. But everyone has the same amount of time. We all have our 24 hours each day, and for every one of us the hour will supply just 60 minutes of time, no more and no less. The minute will give us 60 seconds, no more and no less, and there is nothing whatever that we can do about it. Try as we may, sometimes we long to make time pass more quickly because we are waiting for something wonderful to happen, and sometimes we long to make the time pass less quickly because we like the present moment so much. Science, which has done such wonderful things, has not yet found a way to change this regular passing of time. It does not seem certain, however, that time is really quite the same for every one of us. It is true that we cannot get away from the seconds, minutes, and hours of each day, but it is possible that some people have a feeling for time which is different from that of other people. This may account for the fact that there are people who seem to be able to get through a great amount of work in quite a short time, while there are others who, no matter how hard they work, seem to get very little done. This is not the result of any real difference in time itself. However, it is probably owing to a difference in the way that our minds work. If one person has a mind that is very quick, that sees the point of some remark at once, that knows the answer to a question almost before the question has been asked, then that person is certainly likely to do more in any given time than the person who needs to look this way and that before seeing the point of a remark. ഒരു സ്പീഡ് അല്പം സ്പീഡിൽ വായിക്കാം കേട്ടോ. ഇത് നോക്കുക, എന്നിട്ട് കമൻറ്റ് ചെയ്യണേ. സ്പീഡ് ഇത് വേണമെന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ഇതിൽ തന്നെ ഡെയിലി വായിക്കാം ഞാൻ കേട്ടോ. റെഡി? A little while ago, we considered the rather strange fact that it is very often the people who talk most about the good old days who at other times tell us about the very hard times they had in their own early days. In these easy-going days, they say, young people do not know what it is to work really hard, and they continue. It is as a direct result of their own hard work that they are today the men they are, and we, of course, are left in no doubt whatever that we of the present day can never hope to be as good men and women as our fathers and mothers. If this is the case, the country today is in a very bad way, but it is the case if the young people of today are of poorer quality than their fathers and mothers. We may ask whether the old people of today are in their turn of poorer quality than their fathers and mothers, who no doubt had to face even less easy conditions. Clearly, this cannot be the case, for if we are today any better than the people of 1,000 or 2,000 years ago, it is because on the whole the young people at any given time have been as good as the old people, and even a little better. The material conditions of life for the than they have ever been. People generally have better food, better houses, and better schools. more care is taken to see that young people, as far as possible, work of kind which will interest them, and almost all large business houses now provide playing fields for their workers. Not only are these better conditions offered to the people, it is of equal importance to note that the people are making full use of the better conditions. Authorities all over the country have provided schools where those who are at work during the day may increase their knowledge in their free time, either without charge or at a very low cost, and the attendances at such schools are growing yearly. Women all over the country and in every station of life are learning the food values of different kinds of food, and people generally are moving into the better kind of houses as soon as it is possible for them to do so. More people own their own houses today than at any time in our history. It is quite true that to learn to face up to troubles and a hard life is a valuable part of our training, but even though the material conditions of our lives are better, we still have enough troubles to face to overcome in our own times without wishing to turn our steps back into the past in our order to find still more. ഇതൊന്ന് എഴുതി നോക്കാം കേട്ടോ. എന്നിട്ട് ഇത് മതിയെങ്കിൽ ഇങ്ങനെ വായിച്ചു തരാം, ഇല്ലെങ്കിൽ സ്പീഡ് കുറയും. ഇത് ഏതാണ്ട് 100 അടുത്ത് വരുന്നുണ്ട് സ്പീഡ്. ഓക്കെ, നാളെ.